Hit the like. Hit the like. Like. Yeah. Run it back, nation. What is good? It is I, DJ Eastwood, Run It Back Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, never, ever, ever in the history of ever have ever even thought about, maybe once in a while, sometimes considering having an intro. Shout out to everybody. My dude, Martin Santiago with the super chat. Thanks for the super chat, my man. Always supporting the grind. Thanks for that. $5 super chat. Friday, finally, Martin says. Friday, finally. Yeah, it is Friday. And the Sixers play the Celtics on Monday. That is true. Everybody in here, 90 people, please close out the chat. Hit the like button. That sends this show through the YouTube algorithm, so more and more and more Sixers fans open up YouTube and see me ranting and raving about things that they want to hear. Or they're just bored and they want to hear somebody talk for a couple of minutes while they're at work, at school, whatever else, man, whatever else. Yeah. What we got to get into, man. Couple things. Let me get my notes here. My phone died right before I went live, so I had to plug it in over there. Yeah. Check it out. Let's go ahead and let's go. What are you guys saying in the chat, man? Let's read the chat. Dude, WTF is Harden doing? Dan Shryak. The Celtics media's talking about a sweep. Come on, bro. Are they really? We're talking about the Celtics media, not just Celtics fans. We're talking about the Celtics media is talking about a sweep? A sweep? A sweep? Come on, man. Come on. Look, I'll give the Celtics, they had us in the regular season. There's a couple of reasons I am confident about this series, and I'm going to get into those. But I think a sweep is ridiculous. Jake Firestone, Trey did his job. Absolutely. Now, the Atlanta Hawks folded at the end of that game. They could have pushed it to a game 7, but at the end of the day, giving us 4 extra days of rest, I think it was, by winning 2 games in that series. Yes, Trey did his job. And the Boston Celtics media shouldn't be talking about the 76ers at all. The Boston Celtics media should be talking about how the Boston Celtics just lost 2 games in a playoff series to a play-in team. Hold up. Still got that 30-minute shut off. You know what it is. Just lost 2 games in a playoff series to a play-in team. And that play-in team lost a regular season game to the Philadelphia 76ers at the end of the season, who rested all of their starters. That healthy Atlanta Hawks team lost to Mac McClung, Jaden Springer, Furkan Korkmaz, and whoever the hell else was out there. So the Boston Celtics media needs to be talking about the Boston Celtics and not the Philadelphia 76ers. Celtics too confident, but they horrible the last 2 times to Atlanta. Any news about Embiid? I haven't heard any news about Embiid yet. I predict it pretty much that he's going to be a game time decision right up until the start of game 1. And the reason for that is don't show your cards. It's a strategy as old as time. Don't show your cards. Why would we come out? Why should we come out and announce that Joel Embiid's healthy for game 1, allowing the Boston Celtics to game plan 2 days before? What's the day? What's today? Friday? Saturday, Sunday, 3 days before the game. Why would we do that? We wouldn't do that. Lucci produced What's Going On. Reason ago, they said he was shooting yesterday. Yeah, I mean, Celtics fans are hyped. They beat the Hawks. LOL. And shout out to everybody that's been coming through the playback streams, man. Playback.tv/runitbackphilly. We had, when I first started that back in January, I celebrated having 50 live viewers during Sixers games. Now we're doing about 160 viewers during Sixers games. And even on non-Sixers games like an Atlanta Hawks Boston Celtics playoff game, we had 76 viewers in there. So shout out to everybody that joined the playback stream. We broke 1,000 members just a couple days ago. Y'all are the best, man. One more chat comment before we get into the business. This is our Escobar. This is our best path in a while. Win this series. Heat Knicks next. We gotta bring it. Yeah, absolutely. 1,000%. The winner of this series has a pretty damn good chance of moving forward and winning the NBA championship. The winner of this series is quite possibly NBA champions. I'm not saying the Sixers will walk all over the Miami Heat or the New York Knicks. I'm not saying the Sixers will walk all over a Western Conference team if they get into the NBA Finals. But I still do think the Boston Celtics are the Sixers' biggest competition. I've thought it the whole season. I still think it right now. And, we'll see what happens. We'll see what goes down, man. We'll see what goes down. Harden better be partying after making 100 made layups. Yeah. Hopefully he was out there practicing some layups and then partying. But we'll see very soon, man. We will see very soon. Let's get into the business. Look, let's go ahead and get this out the way. All right. I knew people were going to be a little bit, upset in the comments or whatever, because there's Harden ride or dies that they just want you to jump off a cliff if you say anything about James Harden that is even hinting at slander. Okay. Now, I didn't even say anything about this video. All I did was put it on the internet and said, you give me your opinion. So I don't feel like I deserve some kind of slander for this. I'm in the business of views on YouTube. That's just a fact. I see a video from TMZ Sports of James Harden outside a Vegas nightclub. I know if it pops up on people's feeds, they're going to click on it. So I put it on there. Use your brain here, man. But, so this was posted by, the first person I saw post it was Shannon Sharp's Burner. I don't know what that really means. But they said they caught James Harden smacking someone out of a Las Vegas hotel, and then Barstool Sports posted it, and then everybody started posting it. And, they're using headlines like James Harden smacked somebody outside of a club, which is, it's a tactic. It's a tactic in the business. It's a tactic. You take something and you say, all right, I don't want to completely make up a lie because that would be wrong. But these companies like, a Barstool Sports, etc., they say, how much can I stretch what actually happened to make the headline better? I don't know who this guy is. I think it's one of James Harden's friends. Maybe this guy just lost $50,000 in a casino, and James was like, come on, bro. Get it together. He just gave him a little tap. So let's talk about what happened in the video, and then we'll talk about what I think about maybe James Harden being in Vegas in between playoff series. Look. We're not going to know what this is. We're not going to know if this is someone he knows or if this is some random guy that was trying to sneak into the back of the club. But he gave him a little tap. Maybe it's a random guy that saw the back door open. They saw James Harden's bus right there. And he said, hey, let me in, man. I know who you are, and you should let me in. And Kopik, come on, bro. And somebody did say suspension incoming in my comments. What would he get suspended for? He gave him a little shove, and he did kind of smack him in the face. Like, I don't know what this is. But this is a usual James Harden weekend. Well, it is. And here's what we need to talk about, okay? The people are coming at me saying, this was posted last Monday. Okay. So right after the Sixers sweep the Brooklyn Nets, and I'm not saying these players should not go relax and enjoy themselves. Why would I think that? I'm not saying you shouldn't. Hey, you just swept the Nets. Let's go to a casino. Let's go relax. Let's go celebrate. Let's go whatever. Well, I'm just saying, why are you in Vegas? You beat the Brooklyn Nets, and you have to. I mean, I guess that's just rich people. That's how rich people do things. They can just, I would drive 20 minutes over to 30 minutes down to Lancaster or something if I wanted to go to a city. But when you're rich, you can just be like, let's fly to Vegas right now. So it is what it is. But I understand the optics. I understand the negative optics. I understand the people saying he's not locked in. He's not dedicated. This is, my favorite one was Kobe Bryant wouldn't do this. And that is correct. But I don't think anybody ever thought that James Harden had the dedication to NBA basketball that Kobe Bryant has. This is just who James Harden is. He loves this lifestyle. He's not going to stop. It's just what you have to live with. Again, Houston had their flight schedules around certain days in certain cities because of James Harden's favorite nightclubs. That's an actual fact. Their team flight schedule was centered around his favorite nightclubs in his favorite cities. So it is what it is. You just live with it. It's not like this is... The thing about this is, too, somebody caught it on video. It's not like this randomly happened. This is James Harden every weekend. And I'm not going to make an assessment. I'm not going to go crazy and be like, oh, look, he's in a club. He's not dedicated. Here we go again. He get rid of this bum, this and that. We're going to see what he looks like on Monday. Somebody replied to me and said, yeah, if he plays terrible Monday, then the slander is going to be at an all-time high. And you guys, yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. So let's see what he looks like on Monday. Benji Oliver, Harden can do what the he wants. It's his life. Yeah, but we kind of need him to play basketball in the NBA playoffs at the same time. I'm not randomly talking about somebody's life for no reason. I didn't just go pick a random guy and say, hey, why are you in a Vegas nightclub? No, I'm talking about a player who's on a basketball team who I'm hoping for the first time in 40 years can get to the NBA Finals, for the first time in 22 years can get to the NBA Finals. I'm saying to that person, why are you in Vegas in between a playoff series? If James Harden was not an NBA player, I wouldn't care what he does with his life. Of course I wouldn't. But there you have it. James was in Vegas right after the Brooklyn Nets series. It is what it is. We'll see what he looks like on Monday. And yeah, if he looks trash on Monday, then yeah, the negativity is going to fly. And that's just the way it is. I think he should be laying up with that Achilles on ice, not walking through a casino. Because he has an Achilles injury. And I've been over that before too. It's been bothering him the whole season. He said he doesn't think it's going to completely go away. This is not news. James Harden has an Achilles injury. He's been playing with it the whole season. I would personally rather him be sitting up with his Achilles on ice than walking through a casino. But we'll see what he looks like on Monday. That's what we'll see. That is what we'll see, man. We'll see what he looks like on Monday. If y'all expected a different James Harden suddenly, I've been telling you. This is the James. Maybe this is his doctor. Maybe that was his doctor outside. Hey, come on, bro. I told you to keep that thing elevated and iced. Come on, what are you doing? And he slapped his doctor. Maybe he said you're fired. I ultimately don't think it's a big deal, though. But I did post it on the internet to watch the people go crazy. I did do that. What else? Okay, Atlanta folds at the end of the game against the Boston Celtics. We would have loved for them to push it to a Game 7. They didn't push it to a Game 7. It is what it is. Let's look at the box score, okay? Because I said Jason Tatum's not going to shoot 1 for 11 from 3. I predicted the Boston Celtics would close it out. I was hoping it would go to a Game 7 and they would close it out, but they closed it in 6. And the main reason was straight up, Jason Tatum's not going to shoot 1 for 11 from 3 in a whole series. Shot 4 for 10 from 3 in this series, and they closed it out. You got 30 points from Tatum. You got 22 from Marcus Smart. You got 32 from Jaylen Brown. Every time the Hawks made a run, one of those two guys made a big time shot. And, first game of the season, Sixers Celtics, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum both dropped 35. So if they're feeding off of, what they just did, and both of these guys are hot, we got a problem on our hands. We got to play really high level perimeter defense against this Boston Celtics team to win this series. But there are a couple of reasons I think the Sixers can win this series. Yeah, I'm there. I am there. John Collins had 16 points, only 4 rebounds. Bum. DeAndre Hunter had a great game. Trae Young had 30 points and 10 assists. DeJounte Murray was disappointing in this series. He gets suspended for pushing a referee. I just think the Hawks win a game without him. Then he comes back. He shoots 5 for 13. He's 1 for 4 from 3. He finishes the game with only 14 points. Are the Hawks better without DeJounte Murray taking up 13 field goal attempts? Maybe. Yeah, the Hawks fall to the Celtics. Celtics close it out, so they get a couple days of rest, and then it's Sixers versus Celtics on Monday. Two main reasons I have faith that the 76ers can beat the Boston Celtics in this playoff series. Here they are. Reason number one, I do not believe the Boston Celtics are the same Boston Celtics they were under Ime Udoka as they are right now. Udoka gets suspended for the whole season, and then he goes and signs with who? The Houston Rockets. Joe Mazzulla steps in, and they have the same roster, the same depth. Well, they added Malcolm Brogdon and a couple other pieces in the offseason. They're better roster-wise, I think, and deeper roster-wise than they were last season. But I don't think they have the coaching advantage anymore. Let's look at what the Boston Celtics looked like in 22-21-22 and compare it to this season. You won't see a major difference in some of these rankings, but the one that I think is a major difference is their defensive rating. They were second in the NBA in defensive rating last year. They are third in the NBA in defensive rating this year. Yeah, that's only one spot as far as ranking goes, but look at the number. Last year, they were only giving up 107 points per 100 possessions. This year, they're giving up 112 points per 100 possessions. That's a 5-point difference. I think that's pretty clear to say the Boston Celtics are not at least as good defensively this season as they were last season. They're not terrible. Obviously, they're third best defensive rating in the NBA, but there's a 5-point difference versus last season. I wanted to show you that. What else do I want to show you? That's reason number one. I don't think they're as good defensively, and I think they struggle. They struggled with Trae Young with the on-ball screens. I think they struggle with ball handling guards around ball screens the same way the Sixers do. But the Celtics don't have as much of a switchable defense. They don't have as much of versatility as the Brooklyn Nets even do. You got Al Horford out there trying to, handle screens, switch on screens and things like that. I don't think they're as versatile as some other teams. I think the Sixers can win the margins by spamming the pick and roll. Teams, pick and roll, ball handlers, defensive. Let's look at the Boston Celtics versus the pick and roll. The Boston Celtics versus the pick and roll this season have given up 19.5 points per game. That is the 6th most points per game versus the pick and roll in the NBA. I know this is reaching for an advantage. I know this isn't like earth-shattering. It's not like, we're definitely going to demolish them because they suck at this and we're great. I'm just saying, if we are going to have a winning advantage, it's the fact that the Boston Celtics gave up the 6th most points per game in the pick and roll in the NBA this season. And the Philadelphia 76ers just so happen to have James Harden and Joel Embiid. Now, somebody replied to me on Twitter and said, does Doc know this? I don't know. I don't know if Doc knows this, but I need Doc to know this. The Sixers haven't ran the pick and roll super heavy throughout the whole season, but they have ran the pick and roll super heavy in specific matchups. The problem the Sixers have with the pick and roll James Harden and Joel Embiid is when they play a team like the Brooklyn Nets or the Toronto Raptors or some other teams, the Orlando Magic, yikes. They struggle in the pick and roll because that team goes zone or that team just has 5, 6, 7, 6'11" defenders who can switch everything, and it kind of eliminates or seriously lessens the effect of the pick and roll. But again, the Boston Celtics do not defend the pick and roll great because they don't have as many switchable defenders as some of those teams. That's why they gave up the 6th most points per game to the pick and roll in the NBA. And that's why the Sixers and their coaching staff needs to understand that that is our main weapon. Spam the pick and roll. I want to see James Harden, Joel Embiid pick and roll until the Celtics do something different to try to stop it. That's what I want to see. This is messy. Y'all need to grow up. Why is your concern where Harden is? Stop acting up. We're past that, Kimberly. Calm the fuck down. Kane, I wish Doc would have played Springer some this year. I think he would help the Sixers defensively against Boston's guards because Maxey gets killed defensively against them. Would have been nice. Would be very nice for a Doc Rivers to experiment during the regular season and try to give some younger players some shine or some playing time or some development time throughout the regular season. We just have to live with Doc Rivers' style of coaching the same way we have to live with James Harden's style of living. It is what it is. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see, man. We'll see. But yeah, those are, the two reasons that I really think is that the Sixers can have an advantage against the Boston Celtics, and they can battle it out, and they can take this damn series in 7 games. I honestly think that. Obviously, Joel Embiid's health is number 1. James Harden's health is number 2. He has not had that explosiveness that he had in the beginning of the season since he sat down with that sore Achilles. So we'll see what he looks like. And you need Tobias Harris to continue what he's been doing. Tobias Harris against the Brooklyn Nets was great. I'm not going to write a Tobias Harris apology for him. Where's that tweet at? There it is. I need to see it against the Boston Celtics. But shout out to NBA University. Most efficient players in the half court in round 1. Number 1, Tobias Harris. 1.21 to 14 possessions per game. 1.21 points per possession in the half court. Tobias Harris led the NBA in the first round of the playoffs. That's great news. I need him to continue to do that. I need him to do that against the Boston Celtics. If Tobias Harris might be the X factor. Somebody I think said that yesterday. Tobias Harris is the actual X factor. Obviously, if Joel's healthy. Obviously, if you get 20 and 10 from James Harden and he's the facilitator that we need him to be and he knocks down 3-point shots to continue to spread the floor. I don't know what you're going to get from Tyrese Maxey. He hasn't been great against the Boston Celtics this season. There's times where Tyrese looks very confident. There's times where he shoots poorly in the first quarter and it affects his confidence throughout the game and he doesn't seem like he has that killer instinct that you need him to have. But if Tobias Harris continues to do this, if Tobias Harris does this against the Boston Celtics, he might just be the X factor of this series. Because that, as a fourth option, is a big-time difference maker. And 1.21 points per possession against the Brooklyn Nets. I think the Brooklyn Nets are better defensively than the Boston Celtics. This could very well, though, only be a number because of the strategy the Brooklyn Nets were running against the Sixers, which was, we don't care about anybody but Joel. We're going to double, triple, quadruple, quintuple, sextuple Joel Embiid every time the ball crosses half court, and we're going to let everybody else shoot wide open shots. And Tobias Harris took advantage of that. We will have to see if the Boston Celtics have a strategy that makes a little bit more sense than what Jacques Vaughn did in that first round. Because once you saw game 1 and game 2, you would have thought maybe he would switch it up a little bit, but he's like, nah, we're just going to do the same thing and we're going to do it better. And they did the same thing and it killed him, and they did the same thing and it killed him again. They even lost without Joel Embiid on the floor. But maybe this number is what it is because of the strategy the Brooklyn Nets were running. But I need Tobias Harris to do this against the Boston Celtics. I think that would be a big-time X factor. Speaking of James Harden, here's a video from a couple days ago or yesterday. This is a video from yesterday, 1 p.m. yesterday. And people are saying he looks faster, and he got faster in a week. And just tell me what you think, man. Just you tell me what you think. Does James Harden look faster, spunkier, quicker in this video? Who was guarding him right there? DeAnthony Melton? D-Lev said no. So are my eyes just deceiving me what this looks like against an NBA defense in a playoff game versus what it looks like against DeAnthony Melton in practice? Looks pretty quick. Maybe the rest helped. And he shoots a mid-range shot. So this is what they were working on in practice. Did they actually watch some film of the Brooklyn Nets series and say, James, we need you to shoot more mid-ranges? You haven't been getting to the rim, and when you have been getting to the rim, you've been struggling to finish layups. Maybe let's get back on that mid-range jumper. And this is what they were practicing? I think that's what James needs to do. Not just in this series, not just moving forward, but to extend his career, honestly. I think he needs to start shooting that mid-range jumper more. You know what I mean? I really think that. What else we got, man? What you guys talking about? He was getting by guys in the net series, just not finishing. It's a rhythm thing. A rhythm thing? It could be a rhythm thing. What I saw was him struggling to get off the ground when he had a wide open layup. That's what I saw. Is that rhythm, or is that just the fact that here it is? Here's the layup. Here it is. Here's the layup. Blocked. You know what I mean? Oh, no. He was money from mid-range in OKC. I saw Harden game 4 in person. He looked fast then to obviously he played bad anyways. I saw Harden in game 4 in person. He looks fast then too, but obviously he played bad anyways. Okay. That's just him not taking them serious. They had no chance to stop it. Stop, bro. James was missing layups on purpose because he didn't think the Brooklyn Nets had a chance to win the game. Stop. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Come on, man. James averages 31, 11, and 8 against the Celtics this year. Bubba, what's up, man? And yeah, that's because of what I was saying. They're not as good at defending the pick and roll and ball screens as the Brooklyn Nets were. So James succeeds. So that's another good thing, that we can look forward to. Is James having good stat lines this year against the Boston Celtics because they're not as good at shutting down the pick and roll. They can't switch everything, man. They can't switch everything. He looks faster and more confident. Sixers in 6. Chilling guy. Let's go. I just made a comment, but I'm going to say it again. Do we really want him practicing really hard just so we can injure yourself again? I mean, you can't just not practice hard because you're afraid of injury. Then what? Then how do you know what you look like on the floor? I mean, if you never practice hard because you're afraid of injury, then you go out in the NBA game and you're supposed to, you know what I'm saying? Sixers in 7. I think I'm taking the Sixers in 7. I'm not going to go, come on. I'm not going 5. I'm not going 4. I'm going 7. Because the Boston Celtics kicked our ass all year. I don't think the Sixers were the same team the whole season that they are right now. You know, we had all the injuries in November, December, came back from injury. Maxey was still out. Maxey came back from injury. He was coming off the bench, then he was starting. He was struggling in the starting role. He got moved to the bench. That clearly wasn't best for the team. They put him back in the starting lineup. I think the Sixers really started to gel and click that last month of the season, month of March, and I think that's the right time. That's the time you want to do it. So I do think if you just look at the Sixers in the month of March and say this is what they are, they have a much better chance at the Boston Celtics in a 7-game series than that team that we saw in the beginning of the season. You know what I mean? But I still do think the Sixers struggle to guard the pick and roll and ball screens and switch the same way the Boston Celtics struggle. So we'll see. Steve-O L, love the energy, but y'all are crazy. Celtics heavily favored with Joel's injury. We don't know what his injury is. Nobody knows if Joel's 100% or not. The Sixers aren't going to release that information. If they came out and said Joel is going to be 60% in this series, then yeah, I would heavily favor the Boston Celtics. If I knew that what Joel Embiid's status was, I would make that decision. If the Celtics are heavily favored just because you don't know what Joel Embiid's injury is, or we know it's an LCL sprain, you don't know how bad it is, you don't know if he's going to be 100% or not, you don't know if it was just a minor hyperextension and they're sitting him out as precautionary and then they're not releasing the information because they want to keep the Boston Celtics guessing, then I'm putting money on the Sixers. Run it back, Philly. There was an update today on Embiid's injury. What is that? What was the update? Joel Embiid on Twitter. Oh, here we go. An hour ago. I'm told Joel Embiid's status for Game 1 in Boston is still not known after meeting with doctors and may not be known until Sunday or Monday. It will depend how his sprained LCL responds and feels in the next few days. There is hope he can play early in the series with a brace. That's not an update. That's the same thing I already knew. That he has an LCL sprain. We don't know how bad it is. The Sixers probably know how bad it is. They're not releasing the information on purpose. And they're not going to. They're not going to release the information. And they shouldn't release the information. I personally, from watching the video, from watching the Cam Johnson play, I personally feel like it's a hyperextension. It wasn't, you could see where it was slightly hyperextended, but it didn't look like egregious. My belief right now is that Joel Embiid has soreness in that LCL behind the knee because of that hyperextension, but it's not damaged. There's not, it's okay. Some swelling, and there's probably going to be swelling after every game when he plays, but he's basically what they've said several times now. He's 100%. He's just going to have some pain. I have swelling in my right ankle right now. I can walk perfectly forward. It just hurts like hell, but my ankle works. You know what I'm saying? I have strength and everything in there. It's just swelling and pain. Shout out to me and Joel Embiid being injured at the same time, by the way. Shout out to my dude, Keith Richmond. What is up, my guy? Haven't seen you around these streets in a while. What you been doing? You used to come through the streams all the time back in those Ben Simmons days, man. Back when we were ranting and raving about that bum. Shout out to my dude Keith Richmond. Yo, DJ Eastwood, been a while. Please guarantee a series win against the stinking Celtics. P.S. F. Horford. It's F. Horford because Horford, was good with the Celtics, came to the Sixers, wasn't good with the Sixers, and is good with the Celtics again. So, please guarantee a win against the Celtics. I can't do it yet. I got to know what Joel Embiid's status is, Keith. I can't do it yet. But I will say this. If Joel Embiid is 100% healthy and is just playing through pain and doesn't have any actual damage in his knee, any actual injury in there, just a sore ligament from the slight hyperextension, a little bit of swelling and pain, if he's 100% and he's just playing through pain, the Philadelphia 76ers are winning this series. You heard it. There it is. Shout out to Keith, man. Thanks for the support. I appreciate that. My dude, Babyface Ham. Thanks for the super chat. The way the Celtics didn't let the Hawks inbound was terrifying. Well, the one thing that I don't understand about what the Celtics were doing was having Trae Young inbound the ball. He's 4'7". You know what I'm saying? Why is he inbounding the ball anyway? And then they got Jaylen Brown out there, 6'7", 6'8", however tall Jaylen Brown is. Smothering Trae Young on the sideline, or Marcus Smart, whoever it was. And Trae's throwing the ball off of him because he can't get it in. I think that was just weird of the Boston Celtics to have your shortest, tiniest player trying to inbound the ball in crucial, situations. And Quinn Snyder, I say I can't believe the Atlanta Hawks coach is Frank Gallagher. Maybe he was drunk. Seems like it. Seems like it. I know what it's like. I don't do that anymore, by the way. Traded that in for sparkling water. Maybe Quinn Snyder needs to do the same thing. Young Reezy, book it. Looked at it more on the Hawks than the Celtics had no play to get someone the ball. Exactly. Yeah. I think that's all I really got to talk about, man. Y'all are the best. Thanks for coming through. Thanks for hanging out. Sixers Celtics Monday, game 1. We'll see, man. We can't really assess it until we see what Joel Embiid looks like in game 1. But my belief is he's 100%. He just has pain. The Sixers know this. They're not going to release that information. It's in their best interest to keep the Boston Celtics guessing. Why would we say right now Joel's 100%? Tell the Boston Celtics, go ahead and game plan because Joel's playing. Why would we say that? I think they're using strategy. They know how bad it is. Look at this tweet. They know how bad it is, bro. Why are they lying? I'm told Joel Embiid's status for game 1 in Boston is still not known after meeting with doctors and may not be known until Sunday, Monday. It will depend on how his sprained LCL responds and feels the next few days. There is hope he can play early in the series with a brace. Why are they lying? Because they don't want Boston to have a game plan. You're telling me he sprained his knee last week. You're telling me doctors don't know how bad it is? It's cap, as the kids say. That's all I'm saying. It's cap. Here's an update on Joel Embiid's knee. Oh, we don't have an update. Sorry, guys. Boston's like, damn, let's stay on these Twitter streets, man. Let us know what Joel Embiid's status is. We need to know before game 1. So we got an update. Oh, it's just an update telling us there's no update. It's exactly what's happening. Basti Marty, greetings from Germany. Shout out to Germany. 100% Sixers are making Embiid a game time decision so that Celtics can't game plan. Yes, sir. That's exactly what's happening. Anyway, thanks for coming through. Thanks for hanging out. This has been another edition of Lunchtime Live. My name is DJ Eastwood. This is Run It Back Philly. If you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you really doing? If you're not part of the playback stream, playback.tv/runitbackphilly. We passed 1,000 members in the playback room. Join us. Hit the like button on this stream. Thanks for hanging out. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll catch you.